dolphins can really communicate with people or not? Well, my guest today is Scott Olson, and he's with dolphinsmile.org. Welcome to talkingpurpose.com, Scott.
Thanks, Michelle.
Now, you're an expert in dolphins and whales and have been swimming with them many times. Do dolphins really communicate with people?
Well, at least that has been my experience. They communicated with me many times, and people who I have been with have had what they would say would be communication.
How do the dolphins communicate? I mean, do you get words in your head or a feeling of love? What is it exactly?
It's both. Love. There was joy. There was excitement. I think that's one form of communication, is just being in that field that opens up your heart. Another way is, I think, through our intellect, through our knowing factor. And for me, they came often as almost a telepathic type of experience, where there was a knowing of a message that they sent. Often it was a message of that I was really to become an ambassador.
Well, what do you
when
mean,
I had
an ambassador? Explain
an
that.
ambassador for the Dolphins, to talk on their behalf and express the fact that they are a very intelligent, actually enlightened species that deserves to be protected and taken care of and respected. And so that, in that way, it came from sort of a knowing factor. And I felt like they were communicating a realm of awareness that they exist in all the time.
Scott, when you talk about being an ambassador to the Dolphins, some people are going to get that right away, and other people are going to go, whoa, that's a little woo-woo. What is it that you think you can do to help the Dolphins?
Well, one is to talk on their behalf. You know, they obviously don't human talk living under the water, but they do have very high sophisticated levels of communication. And so it's to speak out on the fact that they are a very awake, aware, sentient mammal. They've been living in the ocean for 20 million years. So it makes sense that they're quite aware. So it's to speak out on their behalf, that they need to be protected, taken care of, and also to share the experience of what it's like to be with them by taking people into the wild to swim with them.
Some people get kind of scared swimming with these huge creatures.
That does happen occasionally. And what I have found is once they just move through some of that fear and they're in the water with the wild dolphins, it leaves them. And it turns into this ecstatic joy.
It's interesting because I've shared with you before that my husband and I have swum with dolphins, not with you unfortunately, but we have. And he's got this instant affiliation with the dolphins. They just love him. And I think it's because he was playful with them. Do you find that dolphins are more attracted to some people more than others, or is it how we're interacting with them?
I find that the dolphins really love everybody, and they, it's that unconditional love, especially from another species, that opens people to be receptive to it.
We're talking here, it is March 2010, and recently has been in the news, the big whale down in Florida that drowned his trainer. I think he pulled the ponytail of the trainer and drowned the trainer. If dolphins and whales are enlightened beings, why would one attack its trainer? Tell me what you think's going on there.
Well, I think what was going on was that the whale, Tilikum, had been in captivity for many, many years, 20 years. And, the whales really deserve to be living in the open ocean. And so most likely what happened was, having been captive in a cement tank a very small enclosure, and then, in a sense, forced to do tricks for people for so many years, and then gotten some food. It's a very unnatural environment. And probably he just lost it, just was not able to contain the frustration of living in that. And whales do have a strong instinctual energy.
If I went on a trip with you, do you go out on a boat? Are they in captivity? I know that in some places.
Actually, these are wild Hawaiian spinner dolphins that come into a number of bays during the day to rest and play and socialize. And I take my group out right offshore. We swim out anywhere from 300 to 500 yards. They're shallow bays, anywhere from 10 to 50 feet in depth, sandy bottoms, and we interact with the dolphins, wild dolphins, right from the shore in the water of the bays. Basically, when we go out for a couple hours at a time, and you have the opportunity to be with the dolphins and watch their social behavior, watch their interaction, and interact with them for a few hours each day.
Well, now you have a trip coming up, and that's on your website, and you have trips all the time. So even if someone's watching this video later, you have trips going on all the time to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. You also have an ebook that I've read that talks about your experiences. Tell me why you felt it necessary to put together a book and what you're hoping to achieve through your book.
Well, my book is called Messages from the Dolphins. And it came about imagining that if I was a dolphin, what would I say to humans, about on a number of topics. And the purpose was to communicate to people that I believe dolphins are extremely intelligent, sentient, and aware. And it really came out of my initial experience. I had a major, what you might call, awakening with the dolphins on my birthday 21 years ago, then started to go be with them. And so I wrote this book on 5 subjects: our true nature, our spiritual nature, because one of the insights I had was that, and I think many people who are awake are coming to that understanding, is that dolphins recognize their spiritual nature. So I talk about that. The second subject is about communicating with them, how to communicate with them, how I experienced my communication with them through waking state, through dream state, through imagining. I'm with them, and just I think part of communication is just the love that you feel with them. The third topic was raising children. I have raised a couple daughters, and I've observed how the dolphins are with their children. So why not talk about that? The third was about the harm that we're doing to the environment and how it is affecting dolphins and whales. So this sort of goes back to speaking out on their behalf, to say, we really need to take better care of them in the ocean, not polluting the ocean, stop the noise makers in the ocean, And then the last subject was war, how the folly of war and how it harms not just humans, but all the species and the earth. And it's time we wake up and start living more peacefully with each other. So the book was intended to convey a message to humans from the dolphin perspective.
So that you really are an ambassador for the dolphins.
We really need to wake up now, take better care of these magnificent cetacean species, other species, our planet, so that we can live peacefully together.
Thank you so much for being on Talking Purpose, Scott.
You're very welcome, Michelle. Thank you for having me.